More Than Bobby's Funeral, the penultimate episode of 911 Season 8, illustrates the consequences of his passing. In order to avoid letting the audience sit with their grief for too long, the first responder drama continues to prefer brief temporal leaps. However, Don't Drink the Water does a considerably better job of illustrating what the disappearance of Captain Bobby Nash Peter Krause genuinely meant for those who loved him, even as the characters try to move on in their own ways, and the show regains some of its light tone. The obvious errors in The Last Alarm, such as the omission of a scene with Bobby's mother, Ann Nash, Leslie Ann Warren, to make more time for a standard case of the week, are not excused. However, during my time evaluating 911, I've discovered that the show occasionally requires 2 tries to do things properly. It took a few episodes for Eddie Ryan Guzman to focus on his relationship with his son, which was the most important aspect of his move to Texas. The more we move away from Bobby's death, the more impactful it is. 911 assesses everyone's grief level with a brief scene that works better than anything in the previous episode. Don't Drink the Water gets off to a strong start right away. This is a flashback to Ravi's Anirudh Pisharati early days. Ravi is rushing to finish a delicious supper as the 118 are seated around a table. However, as the 118 Feet's leader says, they all wait to eat as a family. Bobby goes on to tell tales of the 118 Feet's shared full moons, during which a variety of bizarre events have occurred, such as the birth of infants on yoga mats during Season 1. The entire crew bursts into raucous laughing, including Eddie, Howard, Kenneth Choi, and Henrietta Aisha Hines. It's possible, possibly even likely, that Buck Oliver Stark is exaggerating how important the event is. He doesn't truly recognize himself in the memory. However, it's likely that he remembers them laughing more than they did. He simply sees his loved ones, all of them together, joyful and smiling. When the memory finishes and we see Buck sitting by alone at a table at the firehouse, it is all the more terrible. Stark is doing a fantastic job of facial acting by suppressing his unshed emotions. Additionally, the sound contrast is superb, contrasting the cacophony of a family meal with Buck's sense of utter solitude. It may be the episode's best scene. Fortunately, though, the remainder of Don't Drink the Water is equally powerful. 911 uses an effective emergency. Buck meets Father Brian Gavin Stenhouse at confession. Despite having encounters with Bobby and Eddie, the priest doesn't play a significant role in the episode. However, it's amusing to hear Buck explain that he's not Catholic while using his phone to learn the rituals of confession. There are 2 reasons for the scene. The first is to remind viewers why Buck will find it most difficult to move on from Bobby's passing, except from Athena and perhaps Howard.